We're trying to talk about overcoming big data integration challenges. So I would like to approach our theme from the perspective of the data integration tool itself. And my suggestion to you is that a good data integration tool is not only going to help you solve the problem that you're trying to solve by moving your data, but it can also be put to use in some fairly clever ways to actually make the entire process of developing your solution much more effective, much more efficient. So, data integration platforms, right? We're familiar with those. Data is almost always in the wrong place, in the wrong format, at the wrong time for any particular need, and data integration platforms help you solve that problem, getting data from where it is to where it needs to be at the right time and in the right format, right? So ETL, connecting to some target systems, doing some sort of transformation, landing that data someplace where it can be of use. Perhaps you're pulling data from customers, all manner of customers that you need to take data in huge different sets of formats and get it into your system. Or maybe the opposite, maybe you got to get data out of your system into a variety of formats that you can provide to a consumer. Maybe you're synchronizing systems, your accounting system with your CRM, your ERP with your e-commerce. Maybe you're migrating, moving data from an old legacy environment to a new version of the same application. All of these are classic uses of data integration platforms, and why people come to us with problems like these that they're looking to solve, getting their data where it needs to be. But my proposition for you today is that the right data integration tool can be just as valuable when you're actually developing that solution as it is when you're trying to put it into production. So I have two examples that I'd like to share with you of customers that have come to us with a traditional data integration problem. We worked with them to solve that problem and used our data integration platform to do that. But I think what's more interesting is sort of the unexpected way that we could deploy the data integration platform, not just to solve the problem, but to improve the efficiency and speed in which the problem was actually developed, right? So I've got two customer cases that I think will hopefully make this a little clear. One very similar to Joe's, not the same client. We're not competing for the same client, but in securities trading, and then another client, which is a bank, small bank. So first use case, right? Trade risk assessment. This large financial services company, they have a trading desk, and they also have a risk group, which keeps an eye on the trading desk, making sure that they identify, contain, minimize trade risk, right? You don't want the company to be overweighted in any particular stock, in any particular sector, in any particular geography. You don't want to be overweighted in a particular, volatile class of stocks or price level of stocks. Hundreds and hundreds of rules involved in assessing the risk of the trades that were being done by the organization, right? So that's us in the green box. We're the data integration platform to try to help solve this solution, right? We connect to their trading systems, big data systems, events, messages with semi-structured JSON payloads. We also connect to some more traditional reference data systems, flat files, relational tables that contain supporting data that helps to analyze the risk. Connect to those systems, transform the data, load it into a risk repository, a data repository. In this case, it's Hadoop, where then analysis can be performed. We can deliver those results and then archive the analysis. You can actually start analyzing your, the history of your analysis for some sort of meta-analysis. So it's nice to have an archive of all of the analytical results that you run over time. And so that whole pipeline can be automated by a data integration platform. We did that. It's a very common, very attractive use of a data integration platform. What's more interesting, though, is what else we did with the same data integration platform on the same project. Right? It's a big, big company, right? They have actually 15 people on this project who just do data modeling, right? They use, in this case, IBM's Data Architect to model the data so that it can be ready for the kinds of analysis that they want to do. That involves needing to understand what data elements are available in the trading systems and in the reference systems, which change, and what kinds of elements the analysts want exposed in the repository. So these things change a lot. When they do change, it's an incredibly expensive thing to try to do. This company was facing a 9-month turnaround if they wanted to change, make any sort of significant change to the kinds of analysis they're doing. They had to come up with the requirements for the new analysis, send it to the data modeling team. The data modeling team used their tools, IBM Data Architect. That Data Architect tool, very popular, powerful tool, but what it produces is, the artifacts it produces is essentially documentation. Mapping, schema, maybe some pseudocode, but certainly nothing that's executable, right? So what comes out of that data modeling group, those 15 people running that tool, is some documentation artifacts. So what happens there? Well, they hand it off to a development team, a group of coders take their initial analysis requirements, the new data models, they write some code, and they push that up into production. So that process from requirements to the data modeling team, from the data modeling team to the programming team, from the programming team into production, that loop was taking way too long, right? So we have a solution, we have a data integration platform available to us. It's up and running in production, actually running running the system. Why not use that same data integration platform in a sort of completely unexpected way? Let's use it to fetch data models from the modeling tool, transform those models into executable code, load that code into a Clover, in this case CloverETL workflow, and push that up into the actual production system. So we're using the data integration platform to develop code that runs in the data integration platform, right? The investment that they made for a production system was returning this additional value of being able to streamline the process of actually managing and maintaining that system. So 2 uses of the same data integration platform on the same project. One, the intended use, but sort of an unintended, bonus use of that same platform. Right, production and development, 2 uses of the same system, right? Second, my second story, also financial. This time it's a small bank, local regional bank, I guess. Core banking system consists of a variety of applications and banking products and interfaces with the tellers and ATMs, all the different interfaces people use to interact with the bank, make up a banking system. There's a core set of data in that system, and reports need to be generated. Again, classic use of a data integration platform, that's us in the green, pulling data out of some operational data store, transforming it so that it's ready to be reported on. Banks need to report all manner of reports, some internal, some external, some weekly, some as near to real time as you can, right? Perfect application for a good data integration platform. We can handle big data or small data or legacy data or your data. That's really honestly the most common kind, not big data, not small data, but your data, right? Which is usually some very clever combination of whatever data that you have to work with. So very classic use of our system to support reporting for this bank. What I find more interesting is the other use that we found for this same platform on the same project, right? You can imagine they've got a development system, right? They have a copy of all of their production applications off in a development area. Applications come and go, features come and go, banking products come and go. So there's, it's a pretty dynamic area. with development comes the need for testing. You really want to test with as reliable a data set as you can get your hands on. Ordinarily, the best data to test a system with is actual real data, right? If you can actually use your production data in test. In this environment, you can't do that. There is security, privacy concerns. You can't just take your production banking data out of its secure production environment and put it into your development and test environment, right? So, can't use production data. What the next best thing is, well, how close can we get to production data? Let's get a high fidelity, as close to production data set that we can test with as possible. So let's use the data integration platform to do that as well, right? Let's use the data integration platform in addition to its intended use as a production report serving platform. Let's use it to pull production data from the real system, anonymize it, remove the security and privacy concerns, map, because obviously there's going to be a difference in some of the schema and some of the layouts between what you have in production and what you have in development, and load into some robust test environment, right? So now you've got a very rich test environment that's automatically updated with fresh, real data that is as close as you can get to production, both in terms of content and in terms of sort of spatial distance, right? Because we're able to recreate test data sets automatically. So two uses of the same data integration platform. One, the intended use to create a reporting infrastructure, but the second use of the same platform is actually helping this client build a more reliable, more quick turn, more confidence-inspiring test environment, so that when they do move their new apps into production, it's ready to go. So that's the message, really. The data integration tools can be used in some fairly ingenious ways beyond what you might be thinking about purchasing a data integration tool. So if you have a data integration tool, start thinking about maybe some of the other ways you can put it to use. And if you don't have a data integration tool, well then please come talk to me. But at least start thinking about, when you're calculating maybe the return on investment on a build versus buy kind of assessment, that the platform that you're building, that you select, can be used in some fairly clever, fairly ingenious ways to not only produce the result you're looking for, but to actually help you get there. So thank you. We are an exhibitor, so we have a booth outside. I'm very pleased this time around that we have our general manager with us. So that's a rare treat for her to get time to get out to a conference. So please stop by and we can talk about any sort of data integration challenges. Yes, sir.
So what is the integration challenge you faced in the whole experience? I didn't get the challenge. I didn't get the challenge you faced.
I think the challenge that I'm trying to suggest is that building these things is not, it's hard work to build data integration solutions. And so what I'm suggesting is that you have to make sure that you stop and recognize that the tool that you have can be made available to you, not just as the result, but also as the means to get to that result, right? So I'm not really here to talk to you about specific technical challenges about the production operation of either of those things. I mean, they're standard. I mean, every data integration project is going to have a set of challenges. My point was the challenge that I want to help you solve is to try to simplify the process of developing your systems. Not necessarily the specific, my message isn't necessarily the specific production data integration challenges as much as it is building an environment where you can build your solution. It's kind of a meta message, I guess.
I think in my experience, it's an afterthought sometimes to think about how you're going to construct a test data set. And so people people are clamoring to do straight-through processing in development. They want to get all the environments connected together, and where's the data? Can I get just a few sample data? Can I get some data? And then there's this sort of work stream that nobody realized was part of the project, which is just to go and fetch test data, do things like anonymize it, normalize it. Oh wait, we were changing the design, we got to adapt the data to the new design, and then suddenly there's effort now that was not part of the plan, that's nobody's job, and it just looks like what you guys are suggesting is that sometimes there's innovation in just using the tools that you've already selected to then flip them almost reflexive back on the project itself to support those test data sets. That's what I heard.
Yep, thank you. I hope everyone else heard that. You could have given my presentation in 1 minute instead of 10. But yeah, that's it. And it's gratifying, right, to see a customer choose our product, get value out of that product for its intended use, but also this sort of unintended extra value that comes out of thinking cleverly about using the tool once you've purchased it. Great. Thanks very much, guys.